The Rheeality Podcast. Real conversations about life, love, and business. With me, Jason Rhee. This is The Rheeality. All right, we are here with Caroline Vazzana.
Hi.
And welcome to the Rheeality Podcast in New York.
So happy to be here.
Thank you for being. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
I mean, you are the Carrie Bradshaw. Is that your?
That's what they call me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to tell them otherwise.
Yeah,
so.
And you're a New Yorker.
I am a New Yorker, a New York girl, and just known for, I feel like, colorful, eclectic style. When a lot of people in New York, I feel like, wear black and white
Neutrals.
And are minimalist, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get your start in fashion?
Yeah, so I've loved fashion for as long as I can remember. When I was 10 years old, I knew I wanted to work in the fashion industry. So this is like long time coming, but I didn't have any connections to fashion. Nobody in my family worked in fashion or anything like that. So when it came time for college, I knew I wanted to pursue fashion of some sort. But being from New York, I also didn't want to go to college in New York. So I was like, okay, I'm going somewhere else. So I went to a small liberal arts school in Pennsylvania, studied fashion design and merchandising. And that's when I just started learning about the industry. I really knew nothing before that other than what I could find on YouTube or just, on Google. So did internships while I was in college. My first internship was for fashion designer Anna Sui. And then I did an internship at Marie Claire magazine. And then when I graduated, I got a job at Teen Vogue. That was like my first job in the industry. So I worked at Teen Vogue. And that was kind of when like social media was starting to rise.
Teen Vogue was like a hot moment.
I loved working at Teen Vogue.
Yeah.
It really was like the teenage dream.
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh, Teen Vogue. And then, Lauren Conrad interned at Teen Vogue.
Yes.
And that show and stuff. So like everyone loved Teen Vogue. And I loved it too. But it was when I was on the print team, they were like, print's dying, go digital, you need to learn about the digital landscape. So then I left Teen Vogue and I went to InStyle and I was a digital fashion writer there. Loved that as well. But again, I was just like, felt like something was missing and I loved the idea of possibly becoming my own boss.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you guys a very like abridged version of everything. I'm throwing a lot of info at you. I eventually left my job at InStyle to pursue a career in fashion as my own boss. I didn't really know what that meant at the time because the word influencer didn't exist. Mm-hmm. It was just blogger, and I didn't really think I was a blogger. So I really didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. I was just figuring it out. And, I feel very thankful. I kind of like jumped on the social media wave as it was like starting.
When like Instagram had like few filters.
Literally when there was no stories.
Yeah.
There was no stories at first, guys. Like let's just think about that.
There was like 3 preset filters or 4 preset filters in the beginning.
Literally. And there was no editing apps. You just edited in Instagram with a filter. It was crazy. So I've definitely learned a lot. It's been a crazy journey. But that was about like 6 years ago. Yeah. That I made that jump.
Yeah. And then do you remember the moment you kind of like went viral or you made it? Like, do you like, was it a significant moment where you were like, oh my God, it's happened?
You know what? I feel like there's a lot of different little moments that all feel like big accomplishments and big achievements, especially because when it was only just Instagram first, because now I'm on TikTok too, with Instagram, I felt like there wasn't that like virality. Is that even a word? That easiness to go viral. Like TikTok, I feel like I can remember my first couple viral videos. They were like a moment on TikTok that I like gained 100,000 followers in like a day on TikTok. Yeah. Whereas Instagram, I felt like it was like the little engine that could. Yeah. Like slow and steady. And a lot of times, I mean, it's not this case anymore. On Instagram back in the day, if like a brand reposted your picture, you could easily gain like 50 new followers. I feel like it's just not like that anymore. Yeah. Like now with Reels and TikTok, like that's where the viral moments are. But I feel like with pictures, it's a lot harder to like have a viral moment.
Yeah. And as somebody who's kind of, your brand is how you present yourself.
Yeah.
Like, do you get overwhelmed with trying to be on brand, but also moving throughout this? Like, me just going down the elevator, I'm already out of breath. So,
Oh my gosh.
how do you manage that where you're just, because you always have to be photo ready. Mm-hmm. And is there moments where you do feel like you're not, like, you don't have it together?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm only a person, and I think that's one of the biggest things I try to communicate, especially when people meet me, because I always joke, like, if you want to meet me or see me, it'll probably be in Soho. Like, I'm always there just shooting and stuff. But I also, speaking to your point, have noticed, like, in Soho, like, if people are too nervous to come up and say hi, I just notice people, like, taking pictures of me.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Like, I don't mind. Also, please come up and say hi if you see me.
Yes.
I love meeting people, and
Yeah.
I'm very friendly, I swear. But with that being said, like, being on it at any moment, because literally there was one time I was changing my shoes on a corner because I was doing a photo shoot and I was changing from like heels to flats or something. Somebody literally took like a set of like 10 pictures of me changing my shoes, and I was like, and posted them on Instagram and was like, Caroline spot. I'm like, oh my God, like
XOXO Gossip Girl.
Guard down. Like, I literally was just like making faces. I looked crazy. I was like just changing my shoes. Like, I'm not thinking about it. So definitely there's a pressure with it for sure about being in character, even if that's a sense. Because it is me, like, it is myself. But, Caroline on the internet and Caroline, at home with her cats, snuggled up on the couch with a good movie is like a completely different Caroline.
Yes.
So there definitely, when you're out and about, is a pressure for sure. Just to like be on and to be ready. And, I also, in a good sense, feel an obligation to like be a good role model for my community, for my younger followers who are in high school and stuff like that. Like, I want to be a good role model. So even if I'm like out at a club in the city, in the back of my mind, I'm still always just like, I don't want to ever do anything to let people down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to speak from somebody who got to meet you out and kind of in the wild. I met you in
Literally
Guatemala
in the wild,
with your fiance. Thank you to the Knot.
So fun.
Such a fun experience, but you were so gracious, so kind, but I just remember your style being the first thing that I remembered.
Thank you.
And you're always so colorful. And what I love about your brand is you kind of are like a badass, no rules, like dress how you feel, like owning color. Like, I love that. And
Thank you.
Is that something that you've always had when you're working in fashion, or did you kind of get enough confidence to speak that at some point?
Definitely. I built up this confidence over time, and I also found my personal style over time.
Yeah.
I like to joke that, like, this version of me who I am now, like, she was always in here.
Yeah.
She was just dying to break free,
Yes.
and she, like, needed the confidence and I guess the knowledge to do so. I always loved color, and I always loved fashion. And I look back at old outfits of mine, and, like, I was trying. Like, you can see, like, I was trying to get to where I am now. I was trying to play with color and mix prints and this and that. And it's definitely been a journey. Like, I can remember, because I've been with my fiancé, Dave, 9 years.
Shout out to Dave.
So shout out to
sweetheart.
Dave. He's
So
been through
handsome.
so much. He's the best.
And loving his style, too.
And he's, learning his own style. Like,
yeah.
And it's so fun to watch him, because I do not dress him, for people that ask. Like, he picks out his own outfits completely. Occasionally, I'll buy something for him if I see something cool. And I'm like, ooh, he should try that. But for the most part, he dresses himself. But so he's seen this journey, like, through and through. Because when we met, I was not in social media. I was still in college. So in the beginning of my career working at Teen Vogue and in style, like, I'd come down the stairs every day. I kind of think of it in a funny sense. And he'd, like, see what I was wearing every day. And one day, I think it was after I started working for myself. I don't even remember what the outfit was, but he looked at me and he was like, you know what? You're really starting to figure this out.
He said that?
He recognized that it was starting to click.
Oh, I love
and
that.
And it's funny, because in my head, I'm like, ooh, how bad were my outfits before? But it takes time. It's a journey. And that's what I try to tell anybody. It does not happen overnight.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that you kind of are really living your brand, because you really expressed you get to express yourself. And I think
Absolutely.
that is kind of my biggest passion in life is to be able to express yourself in what you do. Now, when you work in fashion, and you were working at that time, and again, fashion has changed a lot.
So much.
And what's
yeah.
been tolerated in the fashion industry versus what's being tolerated now and being
Absolutely.
accepting and normalized
Yep.
and open. Did you ever have those hard experiences? Were you ever bullied with your styling? Because you also are a bold figure.
Thank you.
You have an amazing voice, but you're not a traditionalist in any way. Did you
Definitely.
feel kind of any type of negativity at the beginning?
Absolutely. And it's so funny you say that because it happens,
Yeah.
and I'm not just talking regular, oh, your boss is mean to you. You're made to get coffee. That. Those are the normal things that we're all unpaid internships.
Catch your lines.
We've all done those.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely. I would say more so at InStyle than Teen Vogue, and nothing against InStyle. Still love you guys.
Yeah.
Best, great, amazing experience. But at the time, I was fairly young. I think I was probably 23, 24 when I started there. And glasses, not as good as style as I have now, but bold colors, walking around the office, all happy, very confident and optimistic.
Yeah.
And my boss at the time was, a little bit older. I don't know how to put it. She was a little bit older, in her mid-40s. Nothing wrong with being in your mid-40s. But I think the industry had roughed her a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
She was very quiet, and she wasn't very friendly. Our desks were next to each other.
Yeah.
And also, I think she, had a desk that was next to mine. How much does that suck? They believed in an open floor concept. So not many people had offices. It was very odd that I, was literally sitting next to my boss.
That's too close. That's too close.
Great. And so I'd walk in, good morning. And sometimes she wouldn't even answer.
Yeah.
Would not answer. And absolutely. I felt like her and her little clique of older people
Different
in the
generation.
magazine. Definitely looked down on me and was who does she think she is? And I didn't think I was. I think it's just loving fashion, dressing bold and unapologetically.
It's an innocence.
And I was so young. I was just so happy to be there. And I think the happiness on the inside was radiating through into my clothing and bold pinks and reds and purples and everything. So definitely she would ignore me, and it was very odd because I was so optimistic, but it definitely broke my spirit a little bit. I would go in the bathroom and cry for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I can remember meeting up with Dave after a day of work and being how's work? And before I could even say anything, when you open your mouth and you just start crying.
Yeah, because you see something that you care about and you're
breaking down, sobbing. So it was tough for sure because when you don't fit in, people notice. And the thing is, you should never, anyone who's listening to this, dull yourself or turn yourself down because people aren't accepting of you. And so for me, I think instead of letting it hurt me, I started focusing on social media and things that made me happy. Especially because I was one of the youngest people who worked there. Even the other even the jewelry assistant at the time was 32 and I was 23, and she was the youngest, closest one in age to me. So just to give you everyone was a lot older. So at the time, now I'm 30. So it's different.
But it's interesting too, because I think that what we've learned through the last even few years is that we are seeing a new generation speak up a lot louder. And not follow in the same footsteps as the generations before that were kind of stuck to some of the misogynistic rules and some of the, the narrow-minded views of what business was at some point.
Absolutely. I completely agree, because I felt in her mind there was a hierarchy, and I was the low baby on the totem pole. So why is she speaking out and speaking her mind and dressing so that people notice her, which is so crazy.
Because it shouldn't have to do with it. That shouldn't have to represent.
No, if someone has a good idea, because since I was writing for the website, we would have weekly pitch meetings, and I can remember I would pitch article ideas, and to my face she would say no, and the next week I would see another writer writing my story, my idea.
My gosh.
It was crazy, and I don't talk about this a lot. Not that I don't want to, like, more than happy to share my experiences because I think other people can absolutely learn from it.
Yeah.
But I think I always believe everything happens for a reason. So I feel like her negativity towards me pushed me to, like, focus into social media.
Yeah.
Because, like, on my lunch breaks, I would, like, literally go out with, like, somebody else. Like, honestly, I made friends with, like, a lot of the interns at InStyle because they were younger too, and we would go and, like, take outfit pictures on the lunch breaks.
Oh, I love that.
So that's kind of what, like, started me posting on social media. It was like an outlet.
Love that. That you know, I talk about the wins through the woes, and if like that is a woe that you took and you turned it into a win, and if anything, like have you interacted with her at all and had your pretty woman moment where you're like,
oh my gosh,
like, you know,
it's so funny that you say that because I know for a fact she's like, I've seen her in the distance at like fashion shows I've been at, and she's never come up to me, and honestly I like stay away from her, but I can see her like seeing me like sitting front row and stuff. And
that's my favorite type of like I gotcha moment. And
it's the thing is like I was always nothing but nice. But nice. So it's like not even like she has something to be like, oh, Caroline was so mean. Like, I was so nice, and I was so little, too.
Yeah, and so young, yeah.
That it's just so funny now to think back on it. And, like, now I have an assistant, and I, like, feel so thankful. But I think about how I, like, act towards my assistant, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, I can't believe someone was so, like, mean. Yeah. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's so interesting because we were able to take that kind of... Because I feel like I have some, I don't even want to call them mentors because they were really terrible to me.
Yeah.
But because of how terrible they were, it taught me to not just get like thicker skin, but it really taught me to kind of be the opposite of that. Yep. So to make sure that when I'm growing and like, you know, leading and eventually doing what I want to do with my business, that like I never fall into that trap of being that person because that toxic work culture is something that I think was the reason I could never succeed in corporate worlds.
Totally.
Which is why I had to start my own business too.
Totally.
But similar to you, it's like there wasn't a landscape, there wasn't a rule book of to do what we're doing now.
No,
right?
We had to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think the beautiful thing is not losing your integrity while you do it, but also like not losing your voice. And I think you've really accomplished that with your brand, you know.
Thank you.
And I love the way that you always kind of encourage people to like own their style in your videos.
Thank you. I mean, that's all I want. I feel like even when I was first, so then, you know, I leave InStyle and then I'm starting out as a creator. At that time, this is like 2016-ish, I guess. About 2016. Minimalism was the thing. So nails, like I've always had crazy colorful nails, always been a chunky ring girl, always color. That was like not in.
Yeah.
It was very like the minimalist Instagram feed, leather jackets and like combat. But you remember that blogger era? Like So then I leave one scenario where I'm like kind of bullied to go into another one where I just like didn't fit in. And I knew for a fact some of the other girls were like making fun of my style. Yeah,
but now but turns out you're turning fucking trends.
Now maximalism is it. Yes. Everyone does their nails like me now. Yeah. I'm not claiming that I started anything, but like
dropping your OG picture into
literally like I'm gonna send you some photos. But like it's crazy. I remember when like chunky rings like were starting to come back. Yeah. I had so many followers message me, be like, you did this first.
Yes.
And what can you do? Be like, no. You're not going to say you did it first. Like, all you're going to do is stay true to your style, and then when it's not trendy anymore, you're still doing it.
100%. I feel the same way about, like, you know, when we design things in weddings and art and things like that, I try not to look at, like, what's trending. I try to avoid it. And honestly, for me, when I see something trend, a part of me, like, begins to go like, oh, I don't want to do that then.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to be around it. Even with movies and with like pop culture and things that people are like, oh my God, did you watch Game of Thrones? I'm like, no, I don't want to watch it anymore because now everybody's talking about it and I'm more looking for something unique, right?
Absolutely.
So now kind of going back a little bit, so you were working in fashion, but what was your first job ever? Like your first paycheck?
Oh my gosh. So there's like a mix of two.
Yeah.
So I spent my summers, I was very lucky, down in Long Beach Island, New Jersey.
Okay.
My parents honestly they got lucky too. They bought a beach house down there years ago when I was like a little kid.
Love.
Before, prices went insane on like buying beach houses. So that's where I spent like every single summer. So around when I was like 16, that's the age where like we used to take swim lessons down there. So like you're no longer taking swim lessons. You're like older and you want something to fill your day down at the beach. So I did two things. I became a lifeguard at the ocean. Like on the ocean.
I'm just picturing lifeguards, but like with so many chunky rings that you can't save anybody.
Like with my nails swimming. Literally, I was like actually, which is hard for people to believe when I tell them, I used to be very athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, I am also like 5'9", so I am tall. So I did that, and then I also helped teach swim lessons to little kids.
Oh, wow.
So, like, my family was, like, very into swimming.
Yeah.
I think because we were at the beach, and when we were young, my mom made us all learn how to swim. Because she was like, if you're going to be at the beach, like, you need to know how to swim.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, I'll just become a lifeguard.
Oh, my gosh, that's so funny. You're a lifeguard. I also feel like you would have the most blinged out tower ever.
Oh, I loved the merch because they like gave us all the merch with like the logos and stuff. And my sister was a lifeguard also.
Yeah.
And she like jokes because they made us like these like hats. They were like trucker hats that like said and they were like yellow and green and white and so cute. Nobody else wore them except me. I thought they were the coolest. I had like my hat, my jacket,
I love
everything.
Props. I'm like as a former theater person.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Theater people. I love props.
Theme.
Love a theme.
Love
a theme.
Love a reason to get dressed
up.
Playing lifeguard.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because it makes it makes me feel like I can commit more to the character.
Absolutely.
And so maybe that's another thing too. Well, and also like I'm going through like an evolution right now where I just got sober this year and I'm like going through this like weight transformation because I'm eating everything instead of finding ways to cope with drinking and stuff.
Totally.
And I realized that I am eager to kind of get back into like finding myself through my style again.
Love that.
Because I lost a little bit of my style because I'm at this point I'm just kind of like put whatever fit, like get through the door, right? And keep moving.
Totally.
Do you have any like tips for me to like start getting my mindset ready for fashion? Like
totally. Well, first of all, congratulations. That's amazing. And it's so amazing to be at a point where like I want to reinvent myself.
Yes.
Like I want to start fresh. I want to start new. I mean, my biggest tips to like anybody that asks me about style is you're going to need to go through like an experimentation phase where you're like, what do I like? Like that's the biggest question because it is so hard with so many trends out there and so much media and videos and things being like shoved down your throat.
Yeah.
Even for me, sometimes I'm like, wait, do I actually like this? Or am I just being told I should like this?
Yeah.
And that's like the number one thing I will give you advice of. And it might take time. You might put something on and wear it and be like, I thought I liked this, but like I just don't really like it.
Yeah.
I think the best way to find something like, for example, today, if you're just listening to this, I'm wearing like there's sequins, I guess. Like a sequin rainbowy metallic skirt and an orange sweater and then like tall boots. So
I love it.
Thank you. The biggest thing is I put this on and I instantly felt confident. Like I put on a couple of other outfits before this morning, just like playing around, and I just wasn't feeling the other ones.
Yeah.
And I had like 30 minutes left before I had to leave, and I was like, you know what, I'm changing one more time.
Yeah.
That doesn't often happen to me. Usually I'm like a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
But today I just wasn't feeling it. So my biggest tip to you is like, how does it make you feel
Yeah.
when you have it on? Like, for me, like even you said like in Guatemala, you first saw me probably before you even spoke to me.
Yeah, I think it was before
we became besties.
Yeah.
And we're probably like, oh, this girl like dresses cool. But like that's all you knew about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was your glasses, too.
Always the glasses.
Signature glasses.
Always.
Yes.
Always. And that's the thing for me. Like, you're going to see me first, and you're going to, like, I hope, think that I'm approachable and fun because of the color and the texture and the prints and the patterns. So fashion really is a way for people to, like, feel your vibe and know who you are before you even say a word.
Yes, it's a calling card.
So it's honestly like, well, what do you want to tell the world? What do you want to portray to the world?
Yeah.
So that, and then I always say I'm an emotional dresser. So like colors, like am I in a pink mood? Am I in a blue mood? That's why honestly, I mean, I'm wearing black boots today, but I rarely wear black. Not that black needs to like be depressing, but I feel happiest and more confident in color.
Color.
So...
Yes.
I have a big meeting, I have something crazy going on, I'm reaching for the red, I'm reaching for the pink, I'm reaching for the sequins, really.
Yeah.
But I think it's all about just like, what do you want to portray to the world? How does this make you feel? And you'll instantly, if you do the how does it make me feel, you will instantly realize, like, oh, well, in this, I mean, I feel, and first you might be like, I don't know how it makes me feel. You will wear it for like a whole day.
Yeah.
It's also just like, I feel like clothing puts that energy into the world. Like the skirt I'm wearing right now is just like so fun.
Yes.
And like,
and people were looking at you down in the lobby too.
And even I was, walking in Soho before because I was filming something, and I kept getting stopped like, oh, I love your skirt. I love your skirt. And it makes other people happy. Like, even aside from me, sometimes when people see somebody who's like so unapologetically themselves, it makes others happy.
So true. I love that. That's such a good tip. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
Would you like your commercial on the Rheeality Podcast? Please make sure to do it with me. Oh, that's not good.
Jason Reed.
I was waiting for that.
Because you said it in the same exact way.
Please give me your money so I could advertise your business. Commercial. Here. Ad. Do.
Okay, so you're giving me some tips about getting dressed. Now, what is the time frame? Like, how long does it take Caroline to get dressed in the morning?
So it really depends. Yeah. It depends the day.
Do you do pre-planning?
Sometimes. Fashion week, definitely. Like Fashion week. And I'm not going to say I plan the whole week, rings, earrings,
I think of
every
the Clueless
detail.
Closet. I think
oh my gosh,
the Polaroid moment.
That's okay. My goal one day is to have a rotating wardrobe.
It
Mark
needs to
my
happen.
words.
It's going to happen.
It has
because
to.
your wardrobe is fabulous.
I love it.
I kind of wish that we could have done the interview in your wardrobe.
Oh my gosh, my closet has its own personality, and that's another thing. Like that room is just full of good energy.
It's stories. It's experiences. Like, do you remember the outfits you wore for specific things?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like my first fashion week, things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, even not that it's hanging in the closet, it's folded in a drawer, but the dress I was wearing, the first night I went out with Dave. We went out with a group of friends, and I joke that's the night we fell in love. It was the day we met too. We've been together since that moment.
Yeah, can I borrow that dress?
Literally, it's like the Sisterhood of the Traveling dress, good luck dress. But yeah, not to go off on topic with that, but I have that dress, and it's just so special, and it was it's so cheap. It was in college, you know what I'm saying?
That.
And then I have what I wore on my first date with Dave, little things like that. And then of course I have special things, just
love,
love.
So what would you say the time frame is?
Okay,
average time.
So it depends. So okay, say I'm just have a day busy of meetings, but maybe I have a new pair of boots I want to wear. I feel I plan around, I really will style things around an item. So I'll walk into my closet and it's what's speaking to me today?
Yeah.
So it might be a new bag, it might be a new pair of shoes, it could be a new dress, whatever it is. And it doesn't even need to be new. It could just be something you're oh my God, I forgot I had this. I should style this. I haven't worn it in forever. So then I'll look at the item, and then I hold it up and I look around my wardrobe. I'm what pieces look they would work with this.
Yeah.
So then I start putting things on, trying things on a good day, because sometimes I'm a one-hit wonder, and most days I like to say I am.
Yeah.
I can usually a lot of times see it before it's even on my body, which sounds so weird, but I can see. I've always been very visual. Even before I wanted to work in fashion, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be an artist. So I used to paint and draw all the time.
And I think that's maybe where color plays into it.
Absolutely.
Art is
I've always
so
loved
color.
Design, and I've just always been very visual.
Yeah.
Always. So I usually can see it before and then put it on and be oh, it's fine. Today I was struggling a little bit because I got these new boots, and I don't wear a lot of black.
Chic.
I love them. I just don't wear a lot of black. But for fall, it's a good pair of black boots. Also, they have a little platform.
But also balance with the amount of color you're wearing is so good.
And it's still me.
Yeah, and they match your headphones.
Literally, the glasses, the headphones, we need a picture after this, because I'm I feel I look so official right now. I don't know if you guys can see the camera with my boots, but it's a vibe right now.
It's giving a vibe for sure.
I'm just going to take the microphone with me.
You can take the headphones and the mic with you. I'll send you a Venmo request. I mean, your purse is also
The
so
purse
cute.
is so fun, the fuzzy. And I love a little faux fur more fuzzy moment.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'll say maybe between like, I don't know, like quick could be like 20 minutes done. And I'm not counting hair and makeup. We're just picking the outfit. Yeah. But then like long, like something that would be long for me is like 40 minutes. If I'm like struggling for 40 minutes to like put something together, I just like scratch that outfit and I'm like, let's take a step back. Like, let's start fresh. Like, something's not working here. And that's okay, but it's also being aware that something's not working and like, what's the problem? Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Is there a trend that you see that you're like, ugh, about right now?
There's nothing. So I try really hard because something that I preach is like, wear what you love. So I try not to judge other people, like, even if they're wearing something that I'm like, ugh. But I also say never to anything.
Love
trend-wise.
That. That's a great motto.
Something that I'll say I'm like, ugh, to is not this brand because I'm obsessed with this brand, but all of a sudden this brand is like becoming trendy. So I've been like a Miu Miu girl for years. I love Miu Miu. And I shop there all the time.
Love their design.
I don't know if you've been seeing on TikTok, like the Miu Miu ballet flats are like having a moment right now. Yeah. And like everyone and their mother is going to Miu Miu and buying these flats. And I'm like, ugh. Why? Leave Miu Miu alone.
Now those boots are going to be sold out.
Oh my God, literally. I'm like, why are we making it cool? Like, it always was cool, but like, you know what I mean? Now it's becoming like
but
mainstream.
I feel you. And it's this like balance between like wanting everyone to love what they do and love what they wear, but at the same time still having some sort of identity, right?
Absolutely. Like I was like a month ago, or no, it was like around August 6th. So more than a month ago. 2 months ago even. I was in Miu Miu because I was buying a pair of shoes for an event I was attending, and I saw the ballet flats before everyone else bought them, thought they were cool, and I literally was like, oh, I'm gonna come back and get. They had like a red pair, which I thought was fabulous. They still have them. And everyone's been buying the light pink anyway. But I was like, oh, I'm going to come back and get those. Now I'm like, I don't even want them now because everyone else bought them.
That's kind of how I feel about stuff too.
Yes, it's the worst.
So I think the underlying message there is to buy it when you see it.
Absolutely.
To commit to it and get it when you want it.
Absolutely, because then you can be like, well, you know what, at least I did it first. Yeah. It's terrible, but like when you're like so into fashion like me and you're so into being an individual, like that's something I like pride myself on, is trying to be unique. It's so hard when you're like, wait, I saw that first and I liked it and now everyone likes it. Yeah,
I mean, I feel you on that. Do you think that you have, I ask this question a lot on the podcast, do you think you have a misconception about you? Like, is there a misconception?
Probably.
What do you think it is?
So, 2 things. One, I feel like sometimes people think I'm like very serious or like even a little bit intimidating because I dress like, so if you don't follow me on TikTok and only see my photos, like say you've only seen like pictures of me all dressed up, looking like super fabulous. Cause I pose very like serious in my pictures too. One time one of my followers came up to me. She's like, oh my God, I was so scared to come say hi. I was like, why? I was like, I'm literally like a teddy bear. Yeah. Truly, I am like ex-theater kid, like the biggest, just like nerd at heart. Like I literally wear glasses. Like I'm not really, but I guess I look very serious. Yeah. So I feel like that's a misconception that like people might expect me not to be approachable. Yeah. And I really like to think that I'm like the most approachable creator in New York. Like, please, if you see me, I love it. I am just like a big teddy bear. Yeah. And then this isn't really a misconception, but honestly need to say off the Reddit threads. There's like Reddit threads about New York City creators and honestly filled with love and hate. Like it's a mix. And I actually have seen some beautiful love being like, I've met her, she's the nicest person, blah, 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 which always makes me so happy because I'm like, I swear I am. But someone was commenting that they think I try really hard in my videos. And I was like, you know what? So I thought about it because they were like, it's the way she speaks. She's like so articulate and it feels like she's like trying very hard. Yeah. And to that, I say 2 things. One, I was a theater kid. So like I speak very like to the point, articulated. Like today we're getting ready to go to this event. Like it's not fake. I was a theater kid and that's the way I speak. Yeah. And number 2, I do try hard. I work very hard.
I was just gonna say like I work very hard.
And I'm not ashamed of that.
Yeah. Like, well, and I think that's something about the influencer culture that's maybe it's hard because I think that there's a generation before the influencer culture that was all about like hard work and what hard work meant, right? And so then people that don't really know influencers, because I know a lot of them and I know the work that you do and I know how much I mean, it takes me forever just to make a freaking post. Like it's so much work. The caption alone already like puts me in a spiral. But to do that as a commitment and a part of your career where you have to actually like think of a bunch of different things, who you have to tag, what kind of content the messaging you have. Make sure you don't say something that's going to get you canceled. But then also do it for the check with a brand. It's a lot of work.
Absolutely. And that was the thing I know, I guess, like right now with this whole new age of creators, which is amazing. Like there's so many amazing people out there. But there's this like acting like you didn't try too hard thing of like, oh, I just threw the post up and it just happened to get 1 million likes. Like, even if it looks like they didn't try hard, they tried hard. Like, everything is planned out. And that's why when they were like, it feels like she tries so hard, I sat back and I thought about it. I was like, I do work really hard and I do try really hard. So if that's something it's like bad,
you're committed
I'm
to
like,
it.
I'm sorry, but I love what I do. I genuinely love fashion.
Yeah.
And I do work really hard. I'm not saying I work harder than like, you know, doctors or lawyers. I think we can both agree on that.
We're not doing that like
literally.
Kim Kardashian message that was like, work hard.
Literally, no. Everyone works hard in their own right, but like literally. And like my sisters are doctors, both of them. So I'm like, they work way harder than I do, 100%. Yeah. It's just all about the work in your field. Because like I think in social media, it takes a big toll on your mental health.
Totally.
And it's, you're putting yourself out there in like a really raw way and opening yourself up to hate. So it's different.
Yeah. How do you kind of balance that? Do you ever, and has there been a time that it really affected your mental health?
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I always joke. I get at least one hate comment a day. Yeah. Like on some platform between.
I mean, what does the hate comment have to say? Like, oh, she's wearing too much color?
Literally. Or like, did she get dressed in the dark? Like, stuff like that. Yeah. Or just like, people get so nasty about who even knows what. Like, weird stuff that I feel like a lot of times people project their own insecurities onto people on the internet. Yeah. Because
it's an easy target, right?
Easy target, and they think we won't see it.
Yeah.
I get that a lot, like, because sometimes I'll, like, comment back to people and, like, say something. They're like, oh, my God, I didn't even think you'd see it. I'm like...
Well, of course.
I get it. You're literally, and I'm not Beyonce. Like, I see my comments. So,
I mean, with those boots, though.
The boots give me power. The boots give me power. Yeah, so, like, I get it that maybe someone was having a bad day. Because I have gotten that where the person then apologizes and it's like, I was having a bad day. Just, like, come. I'm like, I get it. Yeah. But I also see all my comments, and I am a real person, and it doesn't make you feel good to hear people, like, criticizing you and pulling you apart, or you know, lose the glasses, like literally. No. She'd be so much prettier without the like literally.
What is this? Sheath all that? Like no, literally. You don't need contacts. Like that's.
It's so funny. I just delete them, a lot of them now at this point, because to even engage and stuff like it's just not even worth it. But it's wild.
Yeah. Like, do you think as you get older, it's getting easier for you to kind of boundary that and separate yourself from it? And do you separate yourself from your following?
So I would say yes and no, because I want to be like, yes, I've been doing this for years now, and like I'm wiser to it. But at the same time, TikTok only came out. I only joined TikTok March of 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
And for me, TikTok, not monetary wise, but like numbers wise, is my biggest platform. Yeah. Now.
What's your number right now on TikTok?
I'm over 550,000.
Oh my gosh.
So I mean,
oh my gosh, I'm like 3.
You need to do TikTok. You
I know. I need to get better at it.
Your personality is so amazing. You would just literally thrive there.
It's just. I even the editing, because there's a lot of editing involved.
I edit all my own videos.
Yeah,
it's
insane.
So much work. It's insane. But so with that being said, growth opened you up to new people, opened you up to new trolls, opened you up. You know, when I had 20K, I barely got any hate comments. Yeah. Now I have like, you know, over 500,000 just on TikTok.
Wow.
And
the sirens are going off about your following right now.
No, thank you. I mean, honestly, I feel very blessed and like so thankful, especially like before TikTok, I never did video content. I didn't know how to do video content. I look back at my first TikToks. I was so awkward. Yeah. Like, in front of a camera because all I had ever done was pose for a photo.
Yeah.
So now I'm literally trying to articulate why I'm putting the outfits together, where in here, in my mind, I know why I'm putting the outfits together.
Yeah.
But so now to try to explain it to people who really don't know me and don't know my story, like, especially for me, like, we just quickly went through my background of, like, Teen Vogue and Style. Been doing this for 6 years.
But you have the credentials, too, to be in fashion.
Exactly. And a lot of people are now only finding me through TikTok. And they're like, oh, did you just start doing this?
You're like, yes.
I'm like, I wish I was still, like, 25.
Yeah.
But, and that's, to be said, I've learned so much. I've grown so much.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would like to say it gets easier with the trolls. I think I've gotten better at, like, knowing myself and being like, you're beautiful. Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Shut them out, whatever. But occasionally a comment does get to you. And you just need to, like, put your phone down, block whoever does not serve you. I'm so big on blocking.
Yeah.
Because you can't give them a second chance.
I wish there was like a life block.
Well,
is there?
Instagram has this new feature. And it literally, the option is block, I'm going to just say user XYZ123, and any future accounts they make.
And how do they track that?
No idea. But maybe it's through the email address or the phone number. Like, you know, like when you sign up, it's through a phone number and email. I guess they could, like, create a new email. But that would be, like, a lot of work. But that feature, I think, is amazing. And I think more platforms should do that.
I think we should have, like, a life block where I can, like, in person go,
oh, my God, imagine.
I'm done with you.
Imagine.
I'm done with you, block.
Imagine. I mean, for your mental health, you have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. How do you set boundaries when it comes to, like, being in a position where you have to meet as many people as you do and network and you know, schmooze, right? Do you feel like you've gotten some tips on how you do that? Like, how do you unplug?
Oh, my gosh. Definitely. It's hard sometimes separating, like, okay, we're not working now. Like, we're shutting off the phone. We're being in the moment, if that even exists anymore. I'm going to say, I think being with Dave for as long as I have been, and that he's not in social media. Like, he respects what I do fully.
Yeah.
But he also respects that, like, Carrot's 8 o'clock. Like, unless I have a campaign that I'm like, I gotta submit this. But if I'm just, like, editing or mindlessly scrolling or whatever it might be, he'll be like, Car, it's 8 o'clock. Like, let's put a movie on. Let's silence our phones. Like, do not disturb. And let's just, like, relax.
He centers you.
He really does. I think if I was with someone in social media, like, I couldn't even imagine it. Like, we've been together so long, but, like, I couldn't even imagine it. Because he respects what I do, but he also respects me and my mental health. And he knows, like the other week, I was just, like, very overwhelmed. And it was, like, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And he literally said to me, go upstairs in bed, put on, he knows I love binge watching, like, dating shows.
Okay. What's your top dating show right now?
I mean, I just finished Love Island UK, but I've just started watching Dated and Related on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a little, like, nonsense, whatever.
Yeah, that's when, like, brothers, they're, like, siblings?
They, like, come together and, like, meet other siblings. So far, it's okay.
My only question is, like, what if they fall in love and they get married? And then their brother and sister get married. Aren't they then getting married to their brother and sister-in-laws?
I know. It's a little odd, that one.
But then also there's, like, 90 Day Fiancé.
Love is Blind, too.
Love is Blind is so... Well, I was a big fan of the first season, and then I tried watching the second, but I couldn't get into it.
It was hard, and not to spoil it for anyone, cover your ears real quick, but none of the couples lasted.
Oh.
So,
I mean...
and I feel like that broke my heart, because I invested all this time into watching it, and, like, rooting for... Like, Dave knows, like, if all the episodes are live, like, I need to know what happens. So I will, like, binge watch it in one day.
Yeah.
Like, he knows. He's like, okay, she, like, is, like, give her time. So anyway, he was like, go upstairs, put on something nonsense that you love, silence your phone. He's like, and if you fall asleep, like, fall asleep. He's like, you just need, he's like, I can tell you're so stressed right now. So having someone, I think, that, like, is aware and can help you balance is, and again, if you're single, totally fine. Like, you just then need to be a little bit more tuned into who you are, what works for you, what your boundaries are. I also have 2 cats, and, like, they're my, like, babies, and love just, like, cuddling up with them and watching something and relaxing.
Yeah. So then in what is like the most exciting thing that's coming up for you right now? Like, is there things that you can share? I know that there's a lot of stuff that you cannot share.
So much. Honestly, I mean, not to, because like you are the wedding expert, but like my wedding is so soon.
Oh my God.
It's like a month away. And I feel like that is taking over my life.
Yeah.
But I've been working on so many projects. I feel like once the wedding's done, I cannot wait. Like, Dave and I joke, we love each other so much. We've been together 9 years, but like we're excited for life after wedding.
Yeah.
And just to like get back into like our lives and our routines and our jobs and like I have so many projects that I'm like, yeah, but like full month of November, like I'm not here.
Yeah. Out of office.
Like all of November.
Yeah.
So,
but that's so good that you're committing to that too.
I just feel like it happens, hopefully once in your life.
Once in a lifetime.
And we're going on our honeymoon right afterwards.
Like right after?
So the wedding's Saturday. We're not going Sunday. We're going Monday.
Okay.
So just because timing-wise, we were like, if we don't do it now, you know what I mean? Like, we're so busy. We would be one of those people that would be like, we're going to go in a year. We wouldn't do it.
Well, I used to give advice about that. I used to tell my couples to wait because, like, there's a come down after an event.
Oh, I'm sure. We're going to be really.
But I've also had couples that, like, are also very busy couples that they're like, this is the only time it works.
That's how
and
it
it still works for them too. I think the beautiful thing is you get a little bit of the trickle over in a beautiful location.
Yes. I feel like I also love flying.
Yeah.
Like I love flying. I find it very relaxing.
Yes.
Which I know some people are like, that's so bizarre.
Yeah.
But especially like an international flight, like I feel like after the craziness, I'm gonna like just plop into my chair, put in my headphones, eat whatever they put in front of me, and just like pass out and be like, oh, we're here, okay, good.
Can you share where you're going on your honeymoon?
Sure, we're going to Italy.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, we're going to Italy. We're doing Florence, Venice, and Rome, but I've never been before, so I can't even like.
Italy at all.
I've been to Milan only for Fashion Week.
Oh my gosh!
So this will be like not for work, you know, for once. Yeah. So I can't even like remember where we're going or any of the names of anything.
That's amazing.
But I can't wait. I'm just like so excited.
Oh my God! Do you already kind of have like an outfit storyline?
Kind of. I'm gonna double check the weather because I've never. I mean, I guess I've done Milan in September, but I feel like by November, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look. I feel like some cute jackets and boots are really going to be the vibe.
Yes.
Because what Dave and I said is, like, we're still going to, like, how could I not take pictures? Taking pictures is, like, my life. It's just not going to be, like, full-blown, like, work photo shoots. Like, we're just going to be capturing life as we live it. Like, we're visiting XYZ place. Like, let's snap photos or whatever. And then at the end, I'll probably do, like, a big photo dump on Insta and share everything. So, yeah, of course, my outfits are still going to be, and, like, gotta bring the heat. We're in Italy.
Yes.
But I'm probably gonna shop too. I feel like I'm gonna like find some. I love vintage.
Empty luggages.
Literally, I love vintage shopping. So I feel like there's gotta be some cool like hole in the wall spots.
That's so funny because so my what I think I started.
Okay.
And I could be wrong. Is prior to Justin Timberlake making his solo career. I felt like I had started the vest movement.
Okay.
Like, I used to rock a vest and a skinny tie, and the reason I loved it was like a man corset where, like, it would slim me down.
Cute.
But I used to go to all the thrift stores in Orange County.
Find them.
And get so many. This was like in high school and a little bit in college, and then like I was trying to do the emo look, but I could never get my hair to like flat iron the way.
You have great hair.
Thank you. Now I appreciate
flip?
that.
Oh my God,
before
it's
I was like I wanted it straight and across my face,
I'm
like
dead.
right?
Oh my God.
But now I'm like, okay, texture waves, like I'm leaning into it. Thank you. But I feel like I was kind of the first to bring back the vest. And now
I feel like you probably were.
But now it's like my safety blanket. And now I can't get out of the vest. And so I'm like trying. But I do love thrifting. I think thrifting is such a fun experience. And even though it isn't really what it was before, because I remember before we could find like super gems.
Yes.
And now it's become its own
pricier.
Yeah, it's become its own industry.
They know that it's in high demand. It's like it's trendy in its own sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be my next like mission, is to kind of like explore a style outside of the vest and tie and a button-up moment, because that's really what I love. Well, I used to love, but now I'm kind of and I do actually love color. I love color blocking.
You would look
Yeah.
so good in like tons bright colors.
I hope I
Prints,
get
too.
an opportunity to one day be dressed by you.
Oh my God, I would love that. The next time you're in New York, like let's just go out. We could even go to like
we should do a video
some
together.
Vintage stores. Oh my God, we should do like a little TikTok or something.
Yes, I would love
just
that.
because I love vintage shopping and thrifting.
Yeah.
Like I really do.
We can do a before and after, and then people can vote on it.
I love that idea.
I love it.
I just think you find the coolest pieces at those stores.
I mean, I think they're great, and I think I think the story behind stuff. I have these amazing cufflinks that I got in Ireland, and they had this like spring-loaded cufflink.
Cool.
Have you ever heard of those things?
No.
It was actually really cool, but it's like it's a spring-loaded like chain, and and that's how you basically get it in the cuff hole.
That's
like,
so cool.
It's really, really cool. But I found that in Ireland, and it was
I'm hoping I find some cool stuff in Italy.
I mean, I can't wait to see what you find, but. I am so happy that you spent time with me.
Of course. This was so fun.
Yes, and thank you so much. And we are going to obviously spend so much more time together when I'm back.
Yes, stay tuned, guys.
Yes.
For more to come from us together.
I will drop all of her amazing content below. And thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, wait, don't go yet. Make sure you subscribe and like and follow and transfer me via Venmo. Thanks for listening.